I don't want to go to Jiu-Jitsu this morning. It's Monday at 5:50 a.m. Um, and I'm sitting in a supremely comfortable Herman Miller chair at an ergonomic desk set at just the right height with a cup of coffee in front of me. I just made with the AeroPress. I went to bed a little too late last night and did the thing where I woke up an hour before my alarm and tossed and turned because I had to pee and I was just ignoring it. So it doesn't feel like I got enough sleep. And it's kind of gross outside, and I have a serious amount of work to do. And right now, I gotta be honest, I can't find the motivation anywhere. And it feels like I'm always like this every morning. Um, I know that's not true, but it feels true. But you know what? In 9 minutes, I'll get up, I'll put my stuff together, and 10 minutes later, I'll be out the door. Motivation is overrated. It gets us to buy the gym membership. It doesn't get us to class 6 months later. I turned a corner when I found this BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits. This graph right here hit me so hard, the universe seemed to slow down. Motivation is a temporary emotional state. Ability is the combination of time, money, physical effort, mental effort, and routine that we all have available to us. When our position falls below that action line in the graph, we quit. The first time I saw that, there was a rush of memories. All sorts of things I tried to do throughout my life that were temporary or some version of on again, off again. While I was reading the book at the time, it was guitar, photography, eating healthfully, and jujitsu. Thinking back further, I understood why stuff like going to the gym to lift, drawing, business ventures, and even the girls I dated before I met my wife Jessica didn't work out. I guess that the book would give me these answers, why I failed at certain things, why I was succeeding at others, and not only the stuff I wanted to do more of, but also the stuff I wanted to do less of. Snacking, alcohol. I guessed right. The solution wasn't more motivation or rationing it better. It's using that temporary high, the buzz of motivation, to do the work that makes the behavior easier, then easier still. Then, like my jujitsu habit now, almost automatic. The book gave me the pattern. We get all the obvious stuff right. We buy the membership and automate the payment. We choose the classes we want to attend and put them on our calendar and hollow out that time. We plot out our commute. We probably spend too much time researching and buying the stuff we'll need now that we're committed. We stage our gym gear in our bag and put it somewhere obvious. And then we just go. All the novelty triggers what neuroscientists call a positive reward prediction error. Our brains flood dopamine into the system to signal this is new, pay attention, learn. There's been times I've been in this state and it's like the world is yours. Anyways, all I could see was the destination, how awesome jujitsu was and how great it would be to fit it into my life permanently. But our brains learn to predict the outcome, and as the novelty wears off, that dopamine spike flattens out and everything except jujitsu creeps in. The commute, laundry, eating, the knock-on effects of adding all of this to our schedule permanently. Then we get sick or injured, or there's just a holiday, and slowly it all falls apart. I could always feel it happening. I can always feel it happening. For jiu-jitsu at least, I've done this long enough that the adjustments nowadays are minor and obvious. So I just wanted to share some of the bigger changes that have kept it permanent now for a really long time. Number one, my calendar and checklist. If it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. Thank you, Ramit Sethi. I use Fantastical to sync multiple calendars across multiple services. For my checklist, I used Things for years, but switched to Todoist when I finally convinced Jessica we needed a shared grocery list. I live by a few rules from David Allen's Getting Things Done. If I can do it in less than 2 minutes, I do it right away. If it takes longer, I capture it in Todoist. A task is a single step. Anything with multiple steps is a project. Between Fantastical and Todoist, everything I need to do is captured. Recurring events repeat automatically in both. I'm constantly referring to them throughout the day. Now, here's the weird part. Once everything was written down, I could finally forget it all. I used to be forgetful because I didn't have a system. I resisted. What if my calendar wasn't there? What if I lost my checklist? This started in the 90s when checklists and calendars were paper things, by the way. What actually happened was the opposite of what I expected. With the calendar and the checklist running, I had a better grasp of everything I needed to do throughout the day. Some days I have 50 or 60 tasks. I can recall almost all of them without looking, but I don't have to. The system holds it all for me. And it's like I suddenly have more capacity than I used to. Now, here's the part that blew my mind. I had to help a friend with this recently. Is a grown man with a mortgage who builds submarines and maintains professional certifications. And he didn't know that calendars and checklists can repeat recurring events automatically. It was obvious to me. It's not obvious to a lot of people. So the second big thing, the commute might be the hardest part for most people. At least it was for me. When we lived in Korea, I'd walk to the subway and then take a taxi to the gym and then walk back to the subway after class. 35 minutes there, upwards of an hour back. Eventually, my friends found out how I was getting there. They explained there's a bus outside the gym that drops me off outside my place and walked me to the stop after class one day and made me get on. But even after that, the weight of the lifestyle there would weigh on me. Extra heavy in monsoon season, and just like the constant humidity, hot summers and brutal winters, like even as a Canadian, my attendance would be spotty, on again, off again, until I was ready to start the whole process over. I never figured this out before we moved back. I settled into my next gym. It was either a 15-minute walk or drive away. Then we moved a little further, and it would take me 20 minutes to drive to the same place. Totally manageable. But then we dumbassed into something much better. Our landlord sold the duplex we were living in. We needed a new place that allowed pets during one of Victoria's proper housing shortages. We were panicking. Jessica mentioned this to a friend of hers who had a condo with a tenant moving out. We looked at it, and although it was smaller than what we were used to, it was literally behind my gym. A 2-minute walk. A few years later, the gym moved, and the commute was ugly. Then our friend sold the condo. Homeless again. But we didn't have the dogs any longer, and there was much more flexibility in what was available to us. Jessica suggested we try the same thing again, live within walking distance of the gym. It was closer to her workplace, and the parking would be easier for me. Now we're 5 minutes from class. Proximity gets me there. Number three, what's for dinner? This is the worst question. When you're with someone for as long as Jessica and I have been together, it's more than 23 years, it's probably one of the questions that comes up the most. It's a problem deciding what to eat if we go out. But cooking, that's also shopping, prep, pickup, and cleanup. It's time consuming and expensive. So we did the trendy thing and tried meal kit delivery services, which cut down on a lot of the grocery shopping. But now we were cooking unfamiliar meals with unfamiliar ingredients that we never really enjoyed. And we were still spending 60 to 90 minutes a night making dinner for ourselves. And I really didn't enjoy any of the meals we were making. And then we went plant-based, and everything vegetarian we tried out in the process could have been better described as cheese-based. Jessica looked at the prices we were paying and did some homework and found Freebeats, a local meal prep service using local ingredients. These are done-for-you meals that are delivered on Sunday for the week ahead, that are refrigerated and microwaved when it's time to eat. We've done collabs with them because I genuinely love the service. I'll pitch them to anyone who will listen. And if you're in Victoria, give Igor a shout if you're as frustrated as I was with what's for dinner. I did the math, and it saves us upwards of 78 hours a year. That's more than 3 days of kitchen time saved. Here's what that means for jiu-jitsu. I can help out at the kids' classes, come home, microwave dinner, and still make the late night session. Now, all of these changes came from one insight. Use the buzz of motivation to systematically remove friction. Then let it compound. When I'm in the state of motivation, everything seems possible. That little euphoria hits, and I think what I'm trying to do will be easy. I used to try and ration that feeling, stretch it out, make it last. It was the wrong move. The correct move is to recognize it's a temporary thing and use it to hunt for friction. When motivation is high, I look at the chain of ability. Time. Where are the savings? What can I automate or eliminate? Money. Can I afford this? Do I need to find ways to save money or spend more money here? Physical effort. How can I make this easier? Mental effort. What decisions can I remove? Routine. How does this fit into what I already do? Where does it create friction? Attending class became easier. Now it feels automatic. Next week, the minimum effective dose. Hey, if you're in Victoria, British Columbia, Lolakana Martial Arts has more than 20 classes a week for both adults and kids in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, no-gi Jiu-Jitsu, and kickboxing. Free parking, we're Indigenous owned. Come check us out.